Let me hit you with something real for a second. Have you ever sat there, staring at your ceiling at 2 a.m., wondering if she's actually gone for good? Like, truly gone. No more texts, no more late night calls, no more memories being made. Or is there still a part of you that hopes, maybe even believes, this is just a pause, a break, a moment of space before things find their way back? Because I've been there, man. I've lived in that silence. I've sat alone, phone in hand, checking it more times than I care to admit, scrolling, waiting, hoping for some kind of sign, anything, a like, a message, her name popping up, wondering if she's feeling even half of what you're going through. And worse than the silence is the doubt. Am I holding on to false hope? Or is this breakup just the storm before the calm? Here's the thing, not every breakup is the final chapter. Sometimes people leave because they're lost, overwhelmed, emotional. They don't always walk away with clarity, they walk away with confusion. And other times, yeah, it's over, clean cut, done. But the signs, the real signs, can tell you which one you're dealing with. That's what I want to talk to you about today. I'm not here to give you fluff. This isn't that recycled Instagram wisdom or vague advice you've already heard a dozen times. This is coming from a man who's lived it, felt it, and learned the hard way. These are signs I wish someone told me to look for, signs that she might not be done, even if everything on the surface says otherwise. So if you're sitting there wondering if she's truly out of your life for good, or if this might just be a detour on a longer road, stick with me. I'm about to break down 7 raw, unfiltered signs that your breakup might not be the end of the story. Sign 1. She unfollows you, but still watches every story. Let's not sugarcoat it. When a woman unfollows you after a breakup, it feels final. That tap of the unfollow button hits harder than most words ever could. It's her way of drawing a digital line in the sand, of saying, I need space, or even, you don't get access to me anymore. And in that moment, it can sting like hell. But what happens next is what really speaks volumes. Despite the unfollow, despite her wanting to appear cold and detached, she's still watching. Every story, every post, sometimes within minutes of you posting it, over and over again. It's subtle, it's silent, but it's constant. And that pattern, that doesn't happen by accident. What you're seeing there is emotional conflict in its purest form. It's pride versus feeling. On one hand, she wants to detach, at least on the surface. She wants you to think she's done, that she's above the connection now, that she's reclaiming control. But on the other hand, she's not ready to let go. Not completely. Watching your stories becomes her loophole, her way of staying close without admitting she misses you. It's easier than sending a text. It feels safer than reaching out. It's her way of asking, what's he up to, without having to hear the answer directly. And that's the thing. If she were truly over you, if her feelings had really been put to rest, you wouldn't even be a blip on her radar. She wouldn't care what you were doing, wouldn't care who you were with, wouldn't be looking for pieces of your life through the crack of the door she slammed shut. But when she's still watching, silently, consistently, that's emotional residue. That's her heart refusing to fully detach, even if her mind is trying to. It's a strange kind of limbo she's stuck in. She wants distance, but she doesn't want disconnection. She doesn't want to talk to you, but she wants to know you're still there. She doesn't want to admit she cares, but she also can't stop checking. She's left the room, but she hasn't closed the door. And so, while you're sitting there wondering if there's a chance, her actions are telling a complicated truth. She hasn't fully left, not emotionally, not yet. So when you see her name pop up in your viewers list for the 5th time this week, don't let it inflate your hope, but don't ignore it either. It means something. It means she's watching your life unfold from afar, still curious, still affected. But here's the key. Just because she's watching doesn't mean you should wait. It doesn't mean you put your growth on pause, hoping she'll circle back. Let her watch. Let her feel the weight of your silence. If she's not ready to step forward and speak, then her silent viewership is her burden, not your responsibility. Because her curiosity is not your call to action, it's just proof that maybe, just maybe, you meant more than she wanted to admit. Quick break. Close your eyes for a second. Picture her, the girl you've always wanted. Feel what it would be like to actually have her. Now open your eyes, because here's the truth. Right now, you're invisible to her. You're getting outcompeted by guys with more money, better looks, higher status, and stronger game. You're playing a rigged game and you're losing, but I've spent the last 35 years mastering this, studying, testing, and finally finding the secrets to get the girls I always wanted. You want to stop getting ignored? You want her chasing you? Then you need to wake up and act. Click the link in the comments if you are truly committed and take the first step toward becoming that guy. Few spots left. Be fast or miss out your last chance to make her yours. Let's get back to it. Sign 2. She disappears, then randomly checks in. Let's talk about something that's easy to overlook but hard to ignore. When she goes completely off the radar and then suddenly reappears like nothing ever happened. 1 minute she's ghosting, silent, nowhere to be found, no texts, no likes, no signs of life, and then out of nowhere, your phone lights up with a message that feels casual on the surface. Hey, hope you're doing good, or I saw something that reminded me of you. It might even be something totally random, like asking about a song you once played or where you got that hoodie she used to steal. But don't let that laid-back tone fool you. That message, it's not just a friendly check-in, it's a feeler, it's a test. You see, when she disappears after the breakup, it's usually because she's expecting you to chase. That's part of the game. She pulls back, wondering if you'll come running. And when you don't, when you give her space, stay silent, or focus on yourself, that silence starts to echo. It gets heavy. It makes her question everything she thought she knew about you, about the breakup, and about whether she actually wants this distance. So when she finally does reach out, it's not just a spur of the moment decision. It's coming from that emotional void she thought she'd be fine with, but wasn't. She's not reaching out to have a full conversation. She's not necessarily trying to get back together either. What she's doing is checking the temperature. She wants to know if the door is still cracked open, if there's still a piece of you that's waiting for her, if she still has access to that emotional part of your life. Because if she can still reach you, still pull a reaction out of you, then maybe she hasn't really lost you. And that matters to her more than she'll admit. These kinds of random texts, these just thought of you moments, aren't coincidences. They're triggered by her own internal conflict. Maybe she saw something on social media that made her miss you. Maybe someone asked about you and it stirred something up. Or maybe she's just lonely on a Tuesday night. Either way, she's not reaching out just to be nice. She's looking for reassurance without actually having to be vulnerable. It's her way of saying, "Are you still there?" without the risk of asking that directly. So when her name pops up on your screen out of nowhere, don't get pulled in by nostalgia. Don't let hope blind you to what's really happening. Recognize it for what it is, an emotional flare-up, a signal that she's still tied to you in ways she can't quite explain or fully walk away from. That doesn't mean she's ready to come back. It just means she's not fully gone. And as tempting as it might be to engage, remember, your peace is not a playground. Her confusion is not your problem to solve. Let her wrestle with the silence she created, because if she really wants to come back, she won't just send a soft text. She'll show up with clarity. Sign 3. She brings up the good times, not the bad. Here's something a lot of men miss. When someone is truly done with you, they don't cling to the beautiful parts of what you had. They lean into the pain, the drama, the fights, the very reasons it ended. That's how they justify the decision to leave. They replay all the arguments, the mistakes, the hurtful words, and they use that emotional ammunition to keep themselves from looking back. But if she's over here bringing up late night conversations, inside jokes, road trips, your favorite songs together, then trust me, she's not emotionally detached. That's not someone who's trying to move on. That's someone still living in the highlight reel. When she says things like, "Remember when we stayed up until 3 just talking?" or "I miss how we used to laugh at stupid stuff," that's nostalgia creeping in. And nostalgia is powerful. It can be more persuasive than anger, because it doesn't just remind her of what was, it tempts her with what could have been. It plants doubt. It whispers, "Did I give up something real?" And those little comments aren't random, they're emotional leaks. Subtle admissions that the love didn't just vanish the moment things got hard. You need to understand, if she's still holding on to the good, she hasn't let go of the possibility. She's mentally revisiting the past because it still feels safer than facing a future without you in it. That doesn't mean she's ready to come back. but it does mean the story in her mind isn't finished, and as long as her heart keeps replaying those moments, she's not ready to fully close the door. That's your sign, not to chase her, but to recognize that your impact lingered longer than the breakup itself. Sign 4. She gets jealous but acts like she doesn't care. Let's break this one down, because it's more common than you think. You post a picture, maybe you're out with friends, maybe there's a girl in the shot, maybe you're just smiling like life is good, and suddenly, she goes ghost. No story views, no likes, no reactions, radio silence, and at first you might think, oh, she must be over it, but no bro, that's not indifference, that's jealousy dressed up in distance. Here's the truth. When a woman is truly over you, she doesn't flinch. You could be shirtless on a yacht with 10 women and she wouldn't care. In fact, she probably wouldn't even see it because she stopped checking a long time ago. But if she still has feelings, if there's even a flicker of emotional connection left, seeing you move on, especially publicly, hits different. It stings. And instead of admitting that out loud, pride takes the wheel. That's when she stops engaging. That's when the silence speaks the loudest. And sometimes it's not even silence, it's sarcasm. It's a subtle jab, a joke with an edge, a comment that's low-key sharp. That's not bitterness, that's hurt disguised as humor. That's her emotions slipping through the cracks in her mask. So don't be fooled by the poker face. If your success, your glow up, or your proximity to another woman causes her to suddenly pull back or act strange, you've hit a nerve. And that nerve, that's proof. Proof that you're still on her radar, still taking up space in her head. But here's where it gets tricky. You can't chase that validation. You can't post just to get a reaction. You level up for you, because her jealousy is not your scoreboard. It's just another sign that the emotional cord hasn't been fully cut, on her end at least. Let her feel it. Let her wrestle with it. And if she ever comes back, it better be with clarity. Not just because she couldn't handle seeing you win without her. Sign 5. Her friends still check in on you. Let's talk about something a lot of guys overlook. Her circle. When her friends are still floating around your social media, still liking your posts, reacting to your stories, or casually dropping a DM that feels random, trust me, it's not. That's not coincidence. That's not just leftover friendliness from when you were around. That's recon. That's her sending out subtle feelers while she stays behind the curtain. Because here's the truth. Women rarely move solo when it comes to emotional matters. They move in formation with their tribe. If her best friend is still watching your every story, if a mutual acquaintance sends you a message out of the blue to check in, that's often her way of keeping tabs without getting directly involved. She might not have the courage to reach out herself, or maybe she's trying to save face. Maybe she doesn't want to seem vulnerable or let you know that she still wonders what you're up to. But that curiosity doesn't just disappear after a breakup. So instead of texting you herself, she lets her friends do the walking for her. Quietly, strategically. And here's the thing, those friends don't move without a reason. Most women talk, a lot. If her best friend hits you up, she probably already knows what you've been posting, what your vibe's been like, whether you seem happy or distant or like you've started seeing someone new. The friend isn't there to find out what's going on. She's there to confirm it. She's there to report back. That's how they stay connected to your life without officially stepping back into it. So don't ignore those subtle signs. Don't underestimate the quiet presence of her crew in your digital world, because every like, every comment, every random just checking in message, those are emotional breadcrumbs. They mean she's not fully moved on. She's not ready to let go of knowing who you are without her. And while it doesn't mean she's coming back tomorrow, it does mean she's still watching from afar, still invested, still curious. And that curiosity is a powerful thing. It keeps doors cracked open long after you thought they were closed. Sign 6. She talks like the door's still open. Let's talk about the language she's using. When she hits you with phrases like, maybe one day we'll figure it out, or you never know what the future holds, don't let it fool you. That's not some deep philosophical statement about fate. That's her way of keeping the door cracked open, just enough for her to slip through if she decides she wants back in. It's not clarity, it's not closure, it's an emotional holding pattern. She's not giving you an answer because, honestly, she doesn't have one. She's not sure herself. That maybes and what ifs are just a safety net, a way for her to keep her options open without fully committing to anything. What she's really doing is leaving the porch light on. She's not stepping outside to meet you, but she's leaving the possibility open that you might show up someday. And bro, let's be real. If you take this as hope, if you start holding on to that little sliver of uncertainty, you're setting yourself up to be stuck in emotional limbo. You won't be moving forward, but you won't be getting her back either. You'll just be in this endless waiting game. Those lines she's throwing out there aren't promises. They're excuses to not fully commit to the decision, yet still keep you emotionally on standby while she figures herself out. So next time you hear one of these maybe lines, don't romanticize them. Don't get lost in the idea that there's still a chance. Recognize it for what it is, a safety net for her, a way to avoid fully closing the door. And here's the hard truth, bro. You're not her backup plan. Don't let her keep you hanging around for her convenience. Move on. Be the man who doesn't need to wait for her to make up her mind. Let her be the one who regrets leaving, not you. Sign 7. She hasn't found closure herself. Let me ask you something real quick. If she was truly done with you, why would she still be bringing up the past? Why does she keep questioning things you said or did? Why is she still venting to mutual friends or texting you out of nowhere to reopen old wounds? That, my friend, is not closure. Closure doesn't need explanations or deep dives into past conversations. Real closure doesn't involve digging up every argument or misunderstanding. Real closure means peace. It means she's healed, let go, and moved on. If she's still circling back, still trying to make sense of things, still blaming you or herself, that's unfinished business. She hasn't processed everything yet. She hasn't let go. And let me tell you something important. This doesn't mean she's ready to come back. Not at all. But it does mean that emotionally, the chapter is not closed for her. She's still wrestling with emotions that she hasn't figured out yet, still clinging to a version of you, and the relationship that she can't fully let go of. She might not even understand why she's still so connected, but the fact is, she is. So when you see her bringing up the past, don't take it as a sign that she's about to come back. Take it as confirmation that something inside her isn't settled. But here's the key, bro. Don't let this drag you back into old patterns. Don't chase after her closure or let her pull you back into emotional confusion. Your job now is to level up. Become the man who understands his worth and doesn't need to keep reopening old wounds to find peace. If she comes back, fine, but don't wait for her. If she doesn't, you'll already be in a better place, stronger, and ready for the future, no longer looking back. So, what do you do with all these signs, bro? You recognize them for what they are. They're signals, pieces of the puzzle that tell you where she stands, but they don't dictate your next move, because at the end of the day, you control your narrative. It doesn't matter if she's still lurking in your stories, keeping the door cracked open with uncertainty, or still wrestling with unfinished business. Your job now is to focus on you. You're not her emotional safety net. You're not her backup plan. It's easy to get lost in the idea that there might still be a chance, to fall into the trap of waiting, hoping, chasing. But that's the trap, my man. You don't need to wait around for someone to figure themselves out. You don't need to be the guy who stays stuck in emotional limbo. You're meant for more, and the real power lies in leveling up, in moving forward, in becoming the best version of yourself, whether or not she comes back. If she does, that's great. Maybe this time she'll be ready, but if she doesn't, that's even better. You'll be the man she wishes she could have had, but you'll already be too far ahead, emotionally and mentally, to look back. So let her feel the weight of your silence. Let her see you grow into the man you were always meant to be. Your worth isn't tied to her, and the best thing you can do now is to keep moving forward, because your future is out there, waiting for you. Thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you being here. If this message spoke to you or gave you something to think about, do me a favor. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new drop. I've got more real talk, more growth, and more power coming your way. So stay locked in. And if you're going through something right now, just remember, your silence can say more than 1,000 words ever could. Take care of yourself, keep rising, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.